Are missiles now being reported over Qeshm as fresh explosions rock Iran's south coast, suggesting the Gulf flashpoint is entering a new and more dangerous phase of the conflict? With blasts echoing near the strategic port of Bandar Abbas just hours after the latest Iran-US exchange of fire, is the region hurtling toward a confrontation that cannot easily be walked back? Iran's own state media is now reporting that the enemy launched missiles toward Qeshm Island, a loaded phrase that signals Tehran is treating this as a direct act of war on its territory. Iran's fast news agency reported mystery explosions east of Bandar Abbas and along Qeshm's shores, adding to a confusing picture where claims and counterclaims are outpacing confirmed facts. US officials told Axios that the strikes hit Iranian missile sites and IRGC boats, framing the operation as a targeted effort to degrade Iran's capacity to threaten Gulf shipping and US forces. After a morning of strikes on both sides, has the Iran-US flashpoint now reached a stage of no return, where every retaliatory volley pulls both sides deeper into a war neither officially declared? Iran strikes at US-linked Gulf targets after Washington launches another massive wave of attacks across southern Iran. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf declared that the era of one-sided deals is over, saying recent military strikes have fundamentally changed the country's approach to future negotiations and regional security. Iran claims a US base in Jordan was hit, including a command center and drone hangars, during the latest retaliation. Explosions are reported in Doha as Qatar issues emergency security alerts to mobile phones across the country. Qatar says its air defenses intercepted an incoming missile during the attack and confirmed no major damage. The IRGC says its missiles targeted Al Udeid Air Base, the largest US military facility in Qatar. The IRGC claims its strikes hit command facilities and fighter support infrastructure at the US base. Iran says a US military radar site in Kuwait was also targeted as part of its regional operation. Kuwait's armed forces say hostile aerial targets were intercepted inside the country's airspace. The IRGC claims a US support ship and refueling facilities at Oman's Duqm port were attacked. Iran says the operation also targeted logistical hubs supporting US naval forces in the Gulf. Qatar, Bahrain, the UAE, and Jordan are placed on high alert as the regional conflict rapidly escalates. Air defense systems activate across the Gulf as missiles and drones are reported crossing regional skies. Bahrain sounds air raid sirens and urges residents to immediately move to the nearest safe shelter. The UAE says its air defenses engaged and intercepted Iranian missiles and drones during the attack. Amid the crisis, the IRGC says it stopped a second vessel transiting the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM says US forces struck 140 Iranian military targets during the latest round of operations. Trump ordered a fresh round of military strikes on Iran as the fragile US-Iran confrontation erupted into another major escalation across the Middle East. The United States launched its third wave of strikes in a week after accusing Iran of attacking a civilian vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. US Central Command said the operation was ordered after the IRGC allegedly carried out a blatant attack on a civilian cargo ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The Cyprus-flagged cargo ship was reportedly left burning, suffered major engine room damage, and was unable to continue its voyage after the alleged attack. US Central Command said President Trump ordered the strikes to make Iran pay a heavy price for targeting commercial shipping in the Gulf. Statement by US CENTCOM read, and I quote, "At 7:15 p.m. ET today, US Central Command forces began launching the third round of strikes this week against Iran. After Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces blatantly attacked MV GFS Galaxy, a Cyprus-flagged container ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz. A civilian crew member is missing and the vessel is unable to continue the journey due to an onboard fire and significant engine room damage. Iran was provided yet another opportunity to demonstrate adherence to the Memorandum of Understanding. After being held accountable for earlier attacks on commercial vessels, but has again failed. In response, the United States is imposing a heavy cost by continuing to degrade Iran's ability to attack civilian mariners and commercial ships freely transiting the strait. The strikes are being carried out at the direction of the Commander-in-Chief." Unquote. US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth declared, "Iran made a poor choice. Now they pay," as Washington defended the latest military action. The United States accused Iran of once again violating the Memorandum of Understanding, saying the latest strikes were a direct military response. Footage circulating online and cited by RT News allegedly shows HIMARS rocket launches from Bahrain toward targets inside Iran. Reports also claimed another wave of US strikes on Iran was launched from Kuwait as operations expanded across the Gulf. Explosions were reported in Bandar Abbas as fresh strikes rocked multiple military-linked sites across southern Iran. Additional blasts were reported in Avaz, Minab, Asaluya, Sirik, and Chabahar as the latest attacks unfolded. Iran's Fars news agency reported multiple explosions across Bushehr province during the new wave of US strikes. The latest escalation came after Iran allegedly fired warning shots at a commercial vessel transiting the Strait of Hormuz, according to US claims. Statement by Iran's IRGC Navy read, and I quote, "In our previous statement, we said that foreign interference and the illegal determination of shipping routes in the Strait of Hormuz will be met with our decisive response and will disrupt the process of normalizing traffic in the strait. Incited by foreigners, several vessels attempted to move through an unauthorized route, disregarding warnings. To correct their course, consequently, a vessel that had jeopardized maritime security by switching off its systems was struck and brought to a halt. Following this incident, the Strait of Hormuz is closed until further notice, and until the end of US interference in this region, no vessel will be permitted to transit. If the enemy, under the pretext of this incident, which it itself caused, carries out any new act of aggression, it will be met with a severe response, and new enemy bases in the region will be targeted." Unquote. Iran's IRGC declares the Strait of Hormuz closed until further notice, dramatically escalating tensions across one of the world's busiest shipping routes. Tehran says the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until what it calls US interference in the Middle East comes to an end. The IRGC warns that no commercial or military vessel will be allowed to cross the Strait of Hormuz without Iran's approval. Meanwhile, Oman proposes two separate shipping corridors in an effort to reduce tensions and keep maritime traffic flowing. Muscat reportedly suggests dividing operational responsibility for the Strait of Hormuz between Oman and Iran under new arrangement. Iran rejects the proposal, insisting that any future security arrangement must involve joint control of the entire Strait of Hormuz. Tehran reportedly fears separate shipping corridors could permanently divert global maritime traffic away from Iranian-controlled waters.